Google and Xreal drop bombshell Android XR dev kits, lightweight waveguide glasses with Gemini AI magic.
Welcome to TechViews 10X. For what feels like forever, smart glasses have been this thing that's always just around the corner, right? So much promise, but the whole market has been this chaotic, fragmented mess. Well, a recent hands-on demo of what Google and its partners are cooking up suggests a major breakthrough might finally actually be here. This could be the thing that brings some order to the chaos and makes these things genuinely useful.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll talk about the big problem that's been holding smart glasses back. Then, we'll get into Google's answer, a little something called Android XR. After that, the fun part, a hands-on look at what this stuff can do. Then we'll see how another company, Xreal, is pushing things even further. And finally, we'll talk about when we might actually see this in the real world.
Okay, so let's start with the core issue. The smart glass market has pretty much been the Wild West. You've got all these different devices from different companies, and none of them talk to each other. They all have their own software, their own way of doing things, and that inconsistency makes it a nightmare for developers to create cool apps, and for us, the consumers, to have any idea what we're actually buying. It's a classic chicken and egg situation.
And this right here is where Google steps in with what could be a total game changer. See, they're not just trying to build another pair of glasses. No, they're thinking bigger. They're building the foundation for an entire ecosystem, a platform that's meant to become the Android for XR.
So what the heck is Android XR? The simplest way to think about it is like a universal language, a single operating system for all kinds of smart glasses and headsets. The idea is to give every hardware maker, whether it's a giant like Samsung or a tiny startup, one solid, powerful platform to build their stuff on. This could finally be the move that ends the fragmentation that's been holding the entire industry back.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, because you can see two totally different strategies playing out. You've got Meta, who's building a closed system just for their Ray-Ban glasses, which are a cool product for sure, but it's a walled garden. And then you have Google creating this open playground. Android XR isn't about just one device. It's about giving a starting point to an entire field of new gadgets.
All right, enough talk. Let's get to the fun part and see how this stuff actually feels to use. We're talking about a hands-on experience with Google's own developer kits. Now remember, these are prototypes. They're meant to show developers what's possible with Android XR.
So these things are incredibly light. The single-eye version is only 49 grams. You barely feel it. They link up wirelessly to your phone and use something called a waveguide display. Basically, they etch a tiny pattern into the lens that guides an image from a projector right into your eye. It's pretty clever stuff. And they have both a one-eye version and a two-eye version that can create a cool 3D effect.
The demos were all about things you might actually do every day. You could swipe a little touch strip on the side to skip songs. You could take a Google Meet call and literally see the other person floating in your vision. Or you could get directions from Google Maps, and a little arrow would just pop up in front of you telling you where to turn. Super practical.
But honestly, the real magic trick was the AI. Using Google's Gemini, you could just look at a bunch of jars on a shelf, and the glasses wouldn't just say, "That's pasta." They could tell the difference between an American sweet potato and a Japanese one. And then it would suggest a recipe. That kind of machine vision is just, wow. It's incredibly powerful.
Now, as cool as those Google kits were, they were really just an appetizer. The real main course, the thing that made everyone's jaw drop, was a device from a company called Xreal. It's codenamed Project Aura. And believe me, this wasn't just a slightly better version of the same idea. It was a massive leap into the future.
And this slide really shows you why it's such a big deal. First off, Project Aura is completely self-contained. You don't need a phone. It's got the same powerhouse Snapdragon chip you'd find in a high-end VR headset. We're talking serious processing power, the kind of tech that will empower entrepreneurs and businesses to create amazing new things. And if you're looking to start or grow your own business with AI, you should definitely check out businesskong.com. Plus, Project Aura has a massive 70-degree field of view. But the most important part? No controllers, just hand tracking.
The whole experience was so smooth that PCMag's Will Greenwald said it was, and I quote, "the most intuitive way to use smart glasses I've ever seen." When a seasoned tech journalist says something like that, you know it's the real deal.
So here's the secret sauce. Instead of having to awkwardly tap or swipe the side of your head, you just point. You see an icon in your vision, you aim at it with your index finger, and you pinch your thumb and finger together to click. That's it. It's so natural, so immediate, it genuinely feels like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Okay, so as unbelievably exciting as all this is, we got to pull back a little and ground ourselves in reality. This is not something you're going to be able to buy for Christmas this year, so let's take a quick look at the actual timeline.
This is probably the most important thing to remember. Everything we've talked about, both from Google and from Xreal, are developer kits. They are tools for software makers to start dreaming up the apps of the future. They are not for sale to you and me. Not yet, anyway.
So if we look at the roadmap, the first developer kits for Project Aura are probably going to launch sometime in 2026. As for when we might be able to walk into a store and buy a polished, consumer-ready pair of glasses running Android XR, we're probably looking at late 2026 at the absolute earliest, but more realistically, sometime in 2027. So yeah, we still have a little while to wait. Which brings us all the way back to the big question. We've seen so many smart glasses come and go, so many false starts, but this feels different. The focus isn't just on some flashy new hardware, it's on building that stable, unified software foundation first. So could an open platform like Android XR be the secret ingredient that finally takes smart glasses from a niche gadget for tech geeks to a mainstream reality for everyone? Time will tell, but it's looking more promising than ever. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the channel.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like as it helps the channel.